Did you know that right now, across the heart of Asia, there are entire cities built for millions of people that are completely silent? We aren't talking about ancient ruins or abandoned villages. We're talking about $120 billion of brand new high-tech infrastructure, luxury malls, and soaring skyscrapers that have never seen a single customer. Today, we are performing a forensic autopsy on the single biggest real estate failure in human history. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the exact math, the hidden corporate lies, and the ghost mall phenomenon that is currently dragging the world's second-largest economy into a tailspin. This isn't just a story about bad architecture. This is a story about sabotage, not from the outside, but from within the boardrooms of Beijing. To understand the $120 billion ghost mall, we have to go back to the great construction fever of the late 2010s. For decades, China's GDP growth was the envy of the world, but it wasn't built on innovation or exports. Not entirely. It was built on debt. See, in the Chinese economic model, local governments don't make money from taxes like they do in the West. They make money by selling land. But to sell land, you need a reason for people to buy it. So they created the dream. They told developers, if you build the biggest mall in the province, the people will come. If you build it, the recovery will happen. This led to the creation of places like the new South China Mall in Dongguan. Imagine a shopping center twice the size of the Mall of America. It has an indoor roller coaster. It has a 500-foot replica of the Bellagio Hotel. It has miles and miles of air-conditioned corridors. And for 10 years, it was 99% empty. Why? Because the bean counters forgot to check the local demographics. They built a luxury mall in an area populated by factory workers who couldn't afford a cup of coffee at the stores they were supposed to visit. It was a $120 billion bet that everyone would suddenly become middle class overnight. But the failure goes deeper than just bad location. It's about the leverage. Developers like Evergrande and Country Garden didn't use their own money to build these ghost malls. They used your money. They used pre-sale funds. They sold apartments and storefronts in malls that didn't even have foundations yet. It was a massive, global Ponzi scheme, dressed up in glass and steel. When the government finally realized the bubble was about to burst, they introduced the 3 red lines. This was a policy meant to stop the debt, but instead it acted like a financial guillotine. Overnight, the money stopped flowing. Construction cranes froze in place, and those $120 billion malls became monuments to a recovery that never existed. The ghost mall isn't just a building, it's a symptom. It's the physical manifestation of a recovery built on a foundation of sand.
Now, let's talk about the human cost. Imagine you are a middle-class family in a Tier 2 city like Shijiazhuang. You've saved your entire life. You've put your life savings into a commercial unit in a new smart mall development. You were told by the government and by the developers that this was the safest investment in the world. Real estate in China never goes down. But then, the mall never opens. Or worse, it opens and there's no one there. This is the retail massacre that the mainstream media isn't showing you. If you're finding this forensic breakdown helpful and you want to see the truth behind the world's biggest corporate failures, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It tells the algorithm that you want more data-driven audits and less fluff. Now, back to the liquidation. The reason these malls are ghosts isn't just because of debt. It's because the consumer is broke. The Chinese recovery failed because the wealth effect was reversed. When 80% of a family's wealth is tied up in a property that is now worth 30% less than they paid for it, they stop spending. They don't go to the malls. They don't buy the luxury goods. They don't eat at the 5-star restaurants. The $120 billion ghost malls are currently sitting on the balance sheets of regional banks like massive, unexploded financial mines. In the West, when a mall fails, a REIT or a bank takes the loss and moves on. But in this system, the mall is the collateral for the local government's budget. If the mall is worth zero, the government is bankrupt. If the government is bankrupt, the infrastructure stops, the schools stop, the hospitals stop. We are seeing a domino effect that is spreading from the retail sector into the heart of the global supply chain. This isn't just a China problem, it's a global contagion. Think about the steel, the cement, the copper, and the glass. China used more cement between 2011 and 2013 than the United States used in the entire 20th century. And a huge chunk of that cement is currently sitting in ghost malls that produce zero return on investment. It is the single greatest waste of resources in human history. But wait, it gets even more forensic. To hide the failure, some local governments are now buying the malls from the developers using state-owned enterprises. They are essentially moving the debt from one pocket to the other, while the building continues to rot. It's a paper recovery designed to fool the international markets, but you can't fool the data. So, what is the end game for a $120 billion ghost mall? In a normal economy, you would have a liquidation. You'd sell the assets for 10 cents on the dollar, take the pain, and rebuild. But the authorities can't allow that, because a 10 cent on the dollar valuation would trigger a total financial collapse. So they are choosing stagnation. They are keeping these ghost malls on life support. They pay for the electricity to keep the lights on, even when there are no shops. They pay for security guards to patrol empty hallways. They are spending millions to maintain the illusion of a functioning economy. This is the sunk cost fallacy on a national scale. And this is why the recovery of 2026 is a mirage. You see, you can't have a recovery without velocity of money, and money doesn't move in a ghost mall. It just sits there, trapped in concrete. This is the middle income trap with a forensic twist. China built the infrastructure of a first world superpower, but they forgot to build the consumer base to support it. They built for a future that they simulated with debt, but never actually achieved. The $120 billion ghost mall is the ultimate monument to the bean counter era. As we look forward into the rest of 2026, we have to ask who is going to pay the bill. The developers are already bankrupt. The banks are underwater. The local governments are tapped out. The only person left to pay is the citizen, through inflation, through lost savings, and through a lost decade of growth. This failure should serve as a warning to every developer and every government in the West. You cannot build your way out of a structural economic problem. You cannot use related shorts to fix a broken long-form economy. The forensics are clear. The recovery didn't fail because of a virus or a trade war. It failed because it was sabotaged by a system that valued appearances over accounting. Next time you see a headline about a new economic miracle, look for the ghost malls. Look for the empty corridors. Look for the silent skyscrapers, because that is where the truth is buried. Thank you for staying with us for this 20-minute forensic audit. We are deconstructing the biggest financial failures in history every single week. If you want to stay ahead of the next time bomb, make sure you check out our next video on the Rolex recession and the collapse of the luxury asset market. I'm your host for Business Success Unlimited. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and remember, if a miracle looks too big to be true, it's probably made of empty concrete. Good night.